New Milford, New Jersey. Well, thank you for joining. So I'm Delight Voss, for those of you who don't know me, and I am here to do some Empath Q&A. We've got one live viewer at the moment, and I have several people who pre-submitted questions that I'm going to talk about that couldn't make it live. And so let's see, what do I want to say to get started? I like to start out when I'm going to do a reading or I'm going to do a Q&A, I like to start out by calling on my angels and guides for assistance. So let me do that first, kind of set an intention for this session. So I'm going to call on all of my angels and guides and everyone who hears this, angels and guides, to assist with this reading today, especially Archangel Michael, Raphael, Shamuel, Jophiel, Ariel, Metatron, Uriel, and any other angel or guide who can assist. We ask that all the information that comes forward is for everyone's greatest good and that we only hear from the highest vibration beings in the light. All right. So I want to just introduce myself for a couple minutes here. Like I said, my name is Delight Voss. I am the founder of the Facebook group Empath Oasis, which I'm very thrilled has grown to be like 1,500 people or something at this point. I can't believe that there's this many people, but I'm really happy that there are, because I wish that I had something like this when I was first starting out and first learning that I was an empath. Currently, so I'm an empath too, and I've used my empathic gifts to become a spiritual medium, an angel communicator. So that's how my gifts have shown up for me. And I really think that every empath has the ability to do something like that with their gifts. Maybe it's healing, maybe it's teaching, maybe it's energy work. I don't know. But I think that's why you have those gifts. And instead, most empaths end up feeling really cursed and just struggle. And a lot of us have trouble with depression and anxiety and a whole bunch of different health problems, a whole bunch of different issues. And we don't actually learn how to use our intuition and express those gifts in the way that we were meant to. So my mission is to help other empaths to get on that path of learning to survive as an empath and control your energy system, and then learning to thrive as an empath by using your unique gifts as a superpower to help, heal, teach, whatever it is, other people, and continue, the good vibes moving forward. And so the reason I'm doing this today is because I want to give you guys a little taste of a community that I have called the Confident Empath Community. So it's kind of like the next step up from the Empath Oasis Facebook group. The reason I made this community is for people who are really wanting to focus in on this. This is an important priority in their life right now, and they want more connection with me, more connection with other empaths who are going through the same thing, because we do calls like this twice a month where we all get on together. I do some readings. We talk about what's going on in everybody's life and how they can, fulfill their life purpose step by step by step. And so that's a paid community. It's $44 a month. So it's a lot cheaper than connecting with me one-on-one, which is $200 an hour. So I wanted to create that because I had a time in my life about 2 years ago where I had kind of started to develop my empathic gifts and dabble in psychic readings and mediumship. But several things happened. The guy I was seeing dumped me, and I decided to go back to my full-time job at work that really wasn't fulfilling. I was a full-time teacher, and a couple things happened. I just got really depressed, and I kind of just fell off my spiritual path, and it was really bad. It was like I've struggled with depression for a while, and this was like the worst depression I've ever had. And I really wanted to die. I just didn't want to live anymore. Everything felt so painful and terrible. I was like, what is the point of this? This is torture. I wish I could die. But fortunately, I had a roommate, and she was a good friend, and she saw this happen, and she was like, you need help. So I ended up getting on medication for that, and then ended up getting back on my spiritual path. And that led me to quit my job and start doing this as a business instead. So it's been a pretty wild ride, but I just want to be here to support other empaths that might be going through a time like that. because if you're part of the Confident Empath community, you will have support around you all the time to help you stay on track and people to talk to who understand if you start to feel that way, if you start to lose it and just feel like this is too hard. So that's why I'm here talking to you guys today, and that's why I have the Confident Empath community. I'll tell you more about that and how you can join it if you're interested in, keeping this going, moving forward at the end. And my dog's being annoying. I'm gonna go put him in his crate really quick. Give me 10 seconds. Yes, go to bed. Yes, go to bed. Come on, go to bed. Okay, so let's get started. So Katya, I'm just going to say your name like that because I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. So do you have a question today? You can go ahead and type, well, actually you have two choices. You can type your question in the chat box, or if you're feeling brave, I can bring you on. No questions? Oh, okay. So if you end up having one option that we have with Zoom is that you can come on and talk to me live, either with your camera or just with your phone, or like just with your audio. So so that's kind of a fun thing. It's a little bit easier for us to dialogue back and forth than chatting. So that's an option. So let me go to some of the emailed questions here. And actually, so this one is from Missy V. And it's kind of funny because I did one of these yesterday, and I thought that Missy had registered for yesterday's call. And so I answered this question yesterday, but I think I'm going to answer it again because now I see on my list that Missy actually had registered for today's call. So she might not see the answer unless I answer it again. That was a good question. So she asked, how can I hone my gifts? What can I do to hone in on my gift? Okay, hone in on my gift. All right. So that question sounds like she's not sure what her gifts might be. So like I was talking about with empaths, we have special gifts, usually intuitive gifts or energy gifts or things like that. And it sounds like she's not sure what it is and she's wondering what it might be. So the way I found my gifts was I just experimented and dabbled. And you totally have permission to do that. I have my coffee here, hold on. I think it can be really fun if you go about it with the right attitude. If you have this attitude where you want to force it and rush it and be like, I need to find my gifts, what are my gifts? That's not gonna be very fun. And really like developing your intuition and finding your special sensitive energy gifts is gonna actually feel kind of light and fun. And you want to have this feeling of curiosity about it. So you want to ask questions like, I wonder if I can read auras, or I wonder if I'm clairvoyant and I can see, visions, or maybe I can see loved ones who've passed, or I wonder if I'm clairaudient and I can hear, angels talking to me. Or I wonder if I could do Reiki and I could, channel that energy and heal people with Reiki. Or I wonder if I connect with shamanism and maybe I could be trained as a shaman. Who knows? Or I wonder if I could read tarot cards, or I wonder if I could use a pendulum, or, all kinds of things. So I think you just ask those questions and then you pursue things that intrigue you. So for me, tarot cards really intrigued me. So I pursued that. Reiki really intrigued me before I even knew I was an empath, and I wasn't even open at all to any type of alternative healing. I was intrigued by Reiki. So I definitely knew I wanted to do Reiki. So kind of just following what's interesting to you, because there's a reason why it's interesting to you, probably because you do have a gift in that area. So it's kind of a fun little journey to just dabble in things, be curious, try things out. And okay, I'm feeling like I want to talk about, so this is kind of step 2. We're talking about step 2 of the empath journey. Step 1 we can talk about in a little bit too is is kind of getting your own energy under control. And then step 2 is to use your gifts with other people out in the world. So step 1 is really getting yourself like in a good place. And step 2 is then to use that goodness and go out into the world. So this, we're talking about step 2. So Missy, you want to make sure that you have yourself all squared away and then go into this, or kind of doing both cyclic. It's not exactly step 1, step 2, like linear. It's like you're always doing step 1, always taking care of yourself, and then you're also doing step 2. So maybe it's like those 2 gears that are going together more than step 1, step 2. Anyway, there's different types of ways you can get intuitive information. One I mentioned is clairvoyance, where it's called clear seeing, where you see images, or maybe you see a vision, or maybe you meditate and you get some kind of a visual. And another one is clairaudience, where you hear things, and that's one of my greatest gifts. Is it's kind of like I'm hearing my own thoughts in my mind, but it's a little bit different, and it takes practice to be able to discern like what's my mind and what's my intuition. Another one is clairsentience, and that's actually feeling sensations in your body. And I have that one too. A lot of us have that as empaths. I hear so many stories of people who get headaches when they're around somebody else who has a headache. You know, you're picking up on somebody else's physical pain. That's clairsentience. But you can also use it, like for me now, that when I'm doing readings and things like that, I have clairsentient feelings. When someone says something that's really true and really right on, I will get this shiver that goes through me. And that's a clairsentient like validation from my angels and guides. And then another one is claircognizance, and this one is pretty tricky but pretty cool. And that's just clear knowing. It doesn't really feel like a physical sensation. It doesn't sound like a thought in your mind. You don't get a visual. You just get kind of almost like this like download. And it's like you just start talking and you don't even know what you're saying. It's just coming out of your mouth and you just know, or you just know something and you don't know how you know it. So when you have a claircognizant gift, it's pretty easy to doubt yourself and talk yourself out of it, because you can't really logically explain it. And so that one's tricky too, to learn to trust yourself with it and to feel into when it's really intuition versus something that your mind is making up. So those are the different kinds of gifts that you can, or different types of intuitive information that you can get, and you can use those in your gifts. Like I do Reiki, but I use clairaudience during Reiki because sometimes I'll get messages for people that I'm doing Reiki on, you know, so it all connects in together. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Missy. Let's see what else we have here for questions. Okay, so this is Berlanti H. I think I saw in the group that he lives in Jordan, which is really cool. All right, so he says, anything about my future, family issues, traveling, and money? Oh boy, that's a lot. Okay, so let me make something clear about future readings. This is just for me. I don't predict the future in my readings. I can tell you, you know, if today, based on today, if you keep doing what you're doing, this is the path you're going down. This is where you're headed. But I don't predict the future with certainty. I don't say things like, you're going to get married in 7 months, because you can easily change that. You know, you can easily make a different choice. And the future is fluid. So I really like to focus on, what are you doing today that's getting you towards your goals? Sorry, my hair, when I did this yesterday too, my hair kept falling on my face. Struggle. So what are you doing today that's moving you forward towards the things that you want in your life? And probably more importantly, like, what do you actually want in your life? Let's talk about that when it comes to the future. What do you want in your future? You kept looking at how nice my haircut is. Oh, thank you so much. Were you looking at how it's falling in my eyes? I really love this hair, but it's a struggle to figure out how to get it to lay just right sometimes. So, oh well. Yeah, so let's talk about that in your future. I wish you were here so we could talk about it a little bit, Berlanti, because what do you want in your future? So let's talk about what you want, and then, you know, the guidance that your angels and guides can give you of how to get there, because that's a lot more important than me just telling you some random thing that might happen. Yeah, here it goes again. So that's why it's really cool to be a part of the Confident Empath community, because we can dialogue a lot more about this. Because if you're not able to make live calls in the Confident Empath community, there's also a really small Facebook group where I'm very active, and we can talk more about it in there too. So that's what's cool about that group, is like we have the live part and then we have the Facebook part to continue talking. So let me see, what else did you ask about? Family issues, traveling, and money. Okay. Let me just draw a card for you, actually. I have a Archangel Power Tarot cards because the question's pretty vague, and you're not here to clarify for me. So I'm just going to pull you kind of a general card and see what comes up for you. So this is the Archangel Tarot cards by Dorian Virtue and Radley Valentine. And I like it because I like tarot cards and I like angels, and they come together very well. And they're very good in a time like this when I'm just going to pull one card for somebody. And it fell out of the deck, and it is 9 of Raphael. Oh, this is kind of what I was already saying to you earlier. It says, make a wish, dreams become reality. A joyful time of life. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying about your future. Like, what do you want for the future? What's your wish for the future? And focusing on that. And so this is Raphael. He's one of the archangels. His color is green like this, and he's actually the angel of healing and health. And he can also help you with manifesting things that you want in your life. So I think he, whenever he comes up, he's there, he's around you, he's able to help you. And you mentioned family issues. So if there's something going on there as far as like, conflicts, he's good at healing emotions too. So if you've been hurt by your family in some way, he's a good one to call on there. So I think that's the message for you, sir, is to really think about what you want in the future and how, and ask Archangel Raphael and your other angels and guides to help you create it. And sometimes that's harder, right? Sometimes you just want people to, like, you want me or your angels or somebody to just tell you what's going to happen in the future, but you actually have a lot more choice and a lot more options, a lot more power than that. And sometimes that's awesome and sometimes it's scary, but you really do. All right, so let's move to the next question. Let's see. Okay, this is from Cindy A. I think it's Cindy. She says, I'm extremely anxious lately. I work with my crystals, cards, and prayer, but feel a strong pull towards channeling my energies, but don't know where to start. Okay. So let's talk about the anxious part first. That could definitely be, if you're feeling like more anxious than normal, there's a lot of us empaths struggle with anxiety. I've struggled with anxiety a lot. So the first thing that comes to mind, though, about that is we've had some crazy stuff happen with the energies of the earth. So if you're a global empath, you're an empath that feels the earth's energy, that could be contributing to your anxiety, because this month so far, we've had 2 eclipses, a full moon, and we're in Mercury retrograde right now until Thursday. So it's going to get better. So you might start feeling better already, but it should definitely be better by the end of the week, because Mercury retrograde ends on Thursday and we have the equinox on Thursday. And then after that, from what I've seen from astrology, a lot of the stuff is kind of like calming down for a little while. So that's important. That's an interesting thing to keep track of when you're an empath, because a lot of us do have that connection to the earth and the planets and all of those types of energies. Plus, here's the thing in astrology, the different planets will affect you differently depending on what your particular chart looks like. So some of these things that have been happening, maybe they don't affect you that much, but they probably affect someone near you. And because you're an empath, you might be affected by the other person being affected. So, like even when it's not your turn, even when your chart like meshes nicely with what's happening, you still might be affected because people in your life are affected. by, you know, crazy things happening with the planet. So that's one thing. Another thing I get is to tell you to call on Archangel Michael when you feel anxious, because he's really good at helping you to cut cords with other people and let go of fear and anxiety. And just ask him. You can either say out loud, think in your mind, or write, like in your journal, or kind of like a letter to Archangel Michael, and just say, like, I'm feeling so anxious. Please help me to calm down my anxiety. Please take away this fear and anxiety. And, you know, do some breathing, do some meditation, things like that. Archangel Michael's color is purple, and I'm getting to show you this crystal because you said you like crystals. So I don't know if you have this one. I actually put this, it's kind of hard to see because I put it in this little spiral because I was wearing it yesterday, and it worked really fast. I was actually having some anxiety yesterday, and I asked Archangel Michael to help me clear it, and I put this on my necklace. I just switched it out for my rose quartz angel. This is Sugilite. It's really pretty purple. It's a pretty small piece. You can see through there. And so this is a stone that connects in really well with Archangel Michael. And I put it on for, I used to wear like 10 minutes. I was going to wear it all day because I was like, I'm going to be anxious all day. I need his assistance. I put it on for 10 minutes, and then I started thinking about my rose quartz angel, and I realized, I think I'm done with this. I don't think I need to wear it anymore. Like, it felt like it impacted me that quickly. So that's a really good tip for connecting in with angels. If you like angels and crystals, and you know which crystal connects with which angel, you can put one in your pocket or wear one when you need that energy, and it's very powerful. And then, did you have a second play? She says, I have a strong pull towards channeling my energies, but don't know where to start. Okay, I'm not totally sure what you mean by channeling my energies. Are you meaning like channeling messages, like being a medium, like channeling messages from angels like I do? Or like doing Reiki is a form of channeling energy, but you're not channeling your energy. You're channeling energy from source through you, through your energetic system and your body to somebody else. So I'm not totally sure what your question is there. What I suggest, though, just moving forward, I'm going to be doing next week inside the Facebook group, I'm going to be doing an event where we're doing some oracle card reading practice, and that might be a good chance to practice some of that stuff. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be coming, an invite to that will be coming in your email here in the next couple days. So that would probably be a good place to start if you're interested in connecting in with angels and guides to channel that way. I think cards are a really, really good way to start. So that's my suggestion. Okay. Moving right along here. We've got, let's see, Taryn. Okay. Taryn asks, how do empaths heal from their own past trauma? Oh boy. This is a good question. I mean, I've been working on this myself. I've been triggered by something that's happened recently in my life. There's a lot of ways to do it, and I'm experimenting with different tools but I'm actually feeling like I probably want to try some other modalities or some other tools too. So I think you keep playing with things and keep experimenting and keep and find what works for you. But here's the funny thing: if you find something that works for you for one thing and you feel like you're healed from a trauma or you're letting it go, then you feel better for a while, but it kind of spirals around and it comes back in a slightly different way. And maybe that tool that you found before doesn't quite help you as much, and you have to find something else. So that's what happens to me sometimes. But here are some tools that have helped me in the past and still help me sometimes. But number one is journaling, just getting it out. And you have to journal like stream of consciousness, just like everything on your mind. And you can actually, I'm getting for you that you can actually start to do automatic writing with journaling, which is a way that this is another answer for the previous question too, is a way to start like channeling energies is to do automatic writing. So you would want to kind of set an intention like I did at the beginning of this reading, where I called on my angels and guides to assist and be with me. And then you just open up and you do stream of consciousness writing and just write whatever comes to you. And a lot of times you'll get intuitive messages from your angels, from your guides, from your higher self, whatever level that is for you, that you connect in with the most. So that's really good to get trauma out, to do like inner child work, to try and check in with, if you're feeling triggered about something traumatic that happened to you in the past, like see if you can, almost like I visualize myself talking to the younger version of myself and giving her a hug and being like, it's okay. Because most of the time when I feel like I had some trauma, I didn't have anybody telling me that I was okay in the moment. I didn't have anybody to give me a hug or like rub my back or say it's going to be okay, and to reinforce like, this is not your fault. Nothing is wrong with you. This is just a shitty moment in time, that kind of thing. So I kind of go back, imagine myself going back to my younger self and having that conversation and giving her a hug. And it's nice when you can do Reiki, or you can have, work with somebody who does Reiki, and they can do Reiki on that situation too, which is cool. And so I can send Reiki to my past self, and that helps me to feel like I've healed some traumas. And so like when I was going through my last breakup from my last relationship almost a year ago, I was feeling triggered about certain things that happened, and I was even, I was grieving the relationship, and I was like, how old do I feel right now? That's a good question to start it, to kind of figure out what some of the roots are. So I remember feeling like I was about 4 years old, but I don't remember the memory that I had then, because I did this process where I imagined myself with my adult self now, with my 4-year-old self, like giving her a hug, sitting with her, letting her cry on my shoulder or whatever it was, telling her it's going to be okay. And I sent Reiki energy to the whole situation. And now I don't remember what it was, which I think is a huge sign to me that it's healed and it's cleared. So I remember several situations like that. So I'm grateful for that breakup for that reason, because it kind of dug a few of those things out of my psyche, and I was able to consciously sit there with it and send myself Reiki and heal it. So if you're interested in doing something like that, we can definitely do that kind of a process together, and we can talk about, your inner child and send some Reiki to her. So you can definitely message me about that. We can talk about it. Another good thing is tapping. It's also called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, or tapping. And I don't think I'm going to get into exactly how to do it right now, but it's a great thing. You can find a ton of stuff on YouTube about it. And it's a good way. I've used it recently too. It's a good way to kind of release energy in your body and in your mind, and get your, like, we were talking about anxiety, and anxiety happens a lot of time when the amygdala in your brain is like firing, and the amygdala is the fight or flight part of your brain. And when you have trauma, or you're an empath and you have lots of anxiety, your amygdala is always going like way too much. And so if you can calm it down, you can feel a lot better. And tapping is a way that you can calm it down. So check into it. It's fun. It's easy. It makes you feel better. So let's talk about, let's see, do we have any other questions here on my list? Okay. Looks like, oh, one more. Okay, Trina. Trina L asks about her life purpose. Okay. So this is a great question to end with, unless you have any questions that have sparked as you've been listening. So like I said earlier, I think that all empaths' life purpose has to do with using their energetic gifts in some way. So there's all kinds of ways, and I'm just saying the things that I'm familiar with, but there could be a lot of different ways you could do this. Like I was saying, you could do Reiki, you could play with crystals, you could be some kind of a teacher, you could be some kind of a healer, and that could be, you know, you could use your empathic healing skills in a really traditional healing practice, like being a nurse, or you could use it in a more woo-woo healing practice like Reiki, you know, and things like that. You know, so you don't have to have a career in, like me, being a medium or something like that to live your life purpose. But I think that you can. So if you know Harry Potter, you know that the people, the non-magical people, the non-wizard people are called muggles. And I honestly feel like that about the world. Like there's people like us who are like the wizards, and there's everybody else that are like muggles. So you can be in the muggle world, have a totally muggle job, and use your energetic skills in that job to do the best you can do. And then I think you're living your life purpose, if that makes sense. Because I think you could be a really great nurse in a totally traditional hospital, but you know, in your mind, you know that you have like just an innate healing touch, and you can just intentionally use that as you work with patients, you know, stuff like that. So that's kind of a general, but I think another part of empath's life purpose, okay, what I'm getting, another part of life purpose for empaths is to do this spiritual work. So if you're not on a spiritual path, like I talked about for me, when a couple years ago, when I was kind of like, this is too hard, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm just going to go back to the muggle world, basically was part of what happened there. And that did not work out well at all for me. I got really depressed and I wanted to die. And so I think that that's not a good plan for you if you're an empath. Like the only way out is through. That's what I've come to learn. And it's kind of actually comforting in a way. So when you're having a hard time, you start to feel like, I can't do this. It's so weird to be an empath. I just want to be normal. And you want to give up. Like, I promise you it's going to be worse for you. Like you just have to keep going. So having a spiritual practice, connecting in with energy, you know, whatever that looks like for you, God, source, spirit, it could be a religion. It could just be a spirituality. It could be, you know, whatever that looks like for you. And again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about dabbling, being curious, kind of trying out different things and seeing what fits for you and what works for you. So those are two important components of being a fulfilled empath and following that life purpose. So that leads me back into what I was talking about before about my empath community called Confident Empath Community. And like I said, the reason why I created it is for empaths to help them on both of those levels of discovering their life purpose as far as like their career and fulfilling work, and their life purpose as far as their spiritual practice. And to stay the path, because it gets hard. It gets really hard sometimes. Like there's amazing rewarding times that makes it all worth it. But it gets really hard sometimes and you want to quit, and you need a community of people around you to remind you that the only way out is through, and to feel your pain and be like, we know, we've been there. And that's the thing I didn't have when I went through that depression. I did not have any other empath. I didn't know any other empaths at the time, or anybody who was aware that they're an empath at the time. So I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. I didn't have any wise, you know, words of wisdom coming through. I just had some books to read, but I didn't have an actual person to talk to. So that's why I made the community. So what I'm actually offering you guys is in the next about less than 12 hours, I'm offering a special to anybody who joins the Confident Empath community, because like I said, it's $44 a month. You can cancel anytime. I think you'll like it, and it's meant to stay long term, but you know, if you don't like it for whatever reason, you can cancel. But I'm offering a free 30-minute one-on-one reading with me, which is a value of $100. So if you like this reading today, if you're liking what I have to say and you'd like to talk in more detail, this is a great way to, one, get an introduction to the Confident Empath community. You'll get, in a month, you'll get 2 more calls like this. The next one is tonight, actually. And you'll also get one-on-one time with me for 30 minutes. So it's a really good deal. It's a $100 reading for free because I just want to incentivize people to check out the Confident Empath community, give it a try, give it for a month and see, you know, what you think, because I think it's really important for us to support each other and to really intentionally go down this road together. So you can, there's a link in the email that I'm going to send you with a replay here. It's delightboss.com/CEC for Confident Empath Community, and you can go sign up there. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, go ahead and reply to an email, or you know, you can post in the Empath Oasis Facebook group. But like I said, the Empath Oasis Facebook group is getting really big now. So the best way really to follow up with me with any further questions would be to join the Confident Empath community. So I would love to see you in there. Like I said, tonight we're doing another Q&A like this, but I guess I'm done. We're doing another Q&A like this tonight, and every other Tuesday is when we do those. And we also do workshops about learning how to manage your energy and develop your gifts. So let me know if you have any questions about it, and have a great Tuesday. Bye.